Welcome back to the Coruscant Knights podcast. Thanks for joining us. You are live with Cooper and Jack, coming to you from the Jedi Council chambers on Coruscant. It is lovely and atmospheric in here. We love it. Last week it was the ISB. This week is the Jedi Council chambers. Next
hmm
week, don't know. Stay tuned to find out. So today's podcast, we are talking about Rebuild the Galaxy, the
hmm
mini series that came out as of recording this a couple of weeks ago, and
hmm
we feel it's worthy to make a podcast on because we got some thoughts. It was a very
hmm
interesting series. If you haven't seen it, we would highly recommend going and watch it. We think it's a good time, but
Yep,
obviously there's things to discuss. So I think let's get straight into it. Jack,
100%.
what did you think of Rebuild the Galaxy?
Okay, look, I thought for a Lego show it is pretty good. I think that the longer it's actually a bit more longer run times. Usually they give you like, for example, like the holiday specials or the one where Darth Vader's on the beach. They give you like a 40 minute, usually just one and done type of thing. But having like at least four episodes going for around 20-ish, a bit more than 20-ish minutes is quite an enjoyable thing to see in Lego. I do kind of wish that they do for Star Wars in fact a Lego, like how the Lego movie, but like as Star Wars, something like grand scale like that would be unreal, I think, to see. I think in this show itself, the main characters that we follow are pretty interesting. I would like to say that I think that they're very copy and paste off a lot of what we've already got from the sequels, but I think they were actually done kind of more interesting in the span of like four 20-minute runtime episodes in a Lego format, which I think is quite humorous when you look back at what we got, obviously, with the sequel movies. I would like to mention that these Lego projects love to absolutely bash the sequel movies, and I love it so much. Why do they always they just
They
always
do.
have to like it's always Luke's character too. They always like somehow find a way for him to like have a comment being like, "Oh, that sounds horrible,"
Yeah.
like, "Why would I want to go to that galaxy?" kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it's great. I love that. I love the little touches of that. I think in terms of marketing, like I know it's gonna sound funny, marketing in a Lego show, that they really put an emphasis on like the Darth Jar Jar aspect, which
Mm,
what was the point? Kind of like he wasn't even
yeah.
really a character. Like if they made Darth Jar Jar like Darth Dev, like in his role, that'd have been funnier. But in my opinion, obviously you need to have somewhat of a structure to the story. So having the brother relationship probably worked better. Um, I want to see your thoughts on it later. But honestly, my favorite part of this show was the final battle between Dev and Sig in the what's it called? What do you call it? Like equivalent of a throne room, I guess,
Yeah.
where where they where they like lightsaber the glass and it does a glass shatter, but it's like
Yeah.
the Lego pieces. Like, and even like seeing Darth Dev stand like at the helm of the ship and looking out into obviously space where all the battle's happening. That just gave me such old Republic vibes from like the cinematic. I was like, this is great. Like, imagine if I was throughout watching this, I was like picturing what it would look like live action in that situation. I'm like, that would
Okay.
be great. I was like, that would look visually great. And I was like, how does a Lego battle almost be like more visually better looking than a lot of stuff we've already gotten recently?
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I thought it had its definitely like generic Lego comedy moments, which probably didn't land and is definitely tailored to more younger audiences. But overall, I thought it was actually a lot better than I was going into expecting, to be honest, in my opinion.
Great. Yeah. I would
Mm,
totally agree. I think that I didn't have many expectations going into this.
mm,
I didn't even know I was going to watch it until I saw it on Disney Plus. I'm like, oh, that's out today. I'm going to watch it.
yeah.
Yeah, main thing that you touched on, runtime. It was
Mm,
quite long, like in
mm,
comparison to what we normally get. So I was kind of going in expecting, oh, okay, maybe we'll get Clone Wars or Rebels sort of length of episodes. They're a bit
mm.
longer, more stretching towards like 28, 29 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think for the story that the show tells, that works. There are
Mhm.
some unnecessary stuff, I will
Yeah.
admit.
100%.
There's, I think the first episode particularly really struggled to get me hooked.
Mm,
Obviously, it's establishing the main characters, it's establishing the world and what happens, and there has to be that sort of episode, but I thought it dragged on for a bit too much. The best part about that episode for me was the recap of the saga, and
mhm,
we'll touch on the
mm.
galaxy situation in a minute, which
Yeah.
really confuses me. But I guess I guess this is a part of the main Star Wars universe, just in Lego. It's like,
Well,
I think it's even
yeah.
like with the holiday specials and everything, the Lego holiday specials, are they canon?
Well, I think, see, that's the thing. I think the ones that feature Finn and Rey directly are like
Yeah.
canon. But I think with this one, they cannot be canon. Like,
It can't be. It
unless it's an
can't be.
alternate, unless they do alternate, galaxies or
Galaxy.
something. Because, yeah, they've just changed everything then. It's like, oh, that's done.
I know. That's what I mean. That's why I was so confused by the end. I'm like, wait, hang on. So you can't go back to that galaxy. You're stuck
Galaxy
in
that,
this one. And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, it just didn't make sense for me. But
Mm,
anyway, more on my thoughts. I quite enjoyed it. I had a good time. I was really surprised at some of the voice acting that came
mm,
through.
mm,
Was not expecting Kelly Marie Tran to come back as Rose
mm,
after, everything that she's been through in the franchise. I didn't
mm.
expect that she would make an appearance. Ahmed Best doing Jar Jar. Amazing
Yep.
to see him back. That was fantastic. Luke Skywalker, Mark
Yep.
Hamill, every episode. That was fantastic. And I'm
Sam
missing
Witwer.
one really obvious one. Sam Witwer, yeah, as
Yeah.
Maul. And I'm sure he did a couple of other things as well in the show. But
And the post
yeah,
credit.
yeah. So overall, had a good time. Tony Revolori and Gaten Matarazzo,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
not looking at their names off screen at the moment. They did a
Yeah.
good job as the brothers. You could definitely
hmm
feel that emotional kind of leveling of the story. So that was something
hmm
definitely. And there was the chick. I can't remember her name or who voiced her.
Yeah, the main girl character.
Yeah, I didn't care for her that
She
much.
didn't really
She didn't
give
really
you
have the
much.
story.
No.
Some of the plot points were a bit strange, like the going to jail on, was it
Yeah.
Dagobah? And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Huh,
Yeah.
well, that's kind of strange."
In the
But
Grievous part, yeah. Yeah.
the Grievous part. Yeah, no, I couldn't really have. I don't have any complaints.
Yeah.
I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Um, I would like to mention having like a post credit almost or like a, end scene thing with Lando showing up as Mando with Grogu. Are they teasing a sequel to this?
They must be.
Like, are they planning like a bloody what's it called franchise just alone around on the Lego Star Wars rebuild
Maybe.
together?
Well, they marketed this like intensely with the Lego sets and everything. So it's
Yeah.
like, but I will say, I feel like if it's not like going to be a franchise or like a
Mm,
series of series, I guess, moving
mm.
forward, the Lando Mando gag, it's just a gag. It's not
Yeah, yeah.
anything setting
No,
up anything. It's just
it's
there
so
for the
funny.
lols. It's there for the
Yeah,
lols.
yeah, it's funny. It's
That
great.
that was that was very unexpected. Like I figured the Mandalorian would show up in this somehow.
Mm. Yeah, as
Lando,
Lando,
the Landalorian.
the Landalorian. Yeah, that's so
So
good.
funny.
Uh,
And did Billy D. Williams do that? I can't remember.
it sounded like him.
Oh,
So
I
it'd
gotta
be,
check now.
you gotta check that. But honestly, I think with if like canon wise, if this was like a legitness thing, like in some sort of form of reality, how funny is like having the non-rule of two, having just
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, I guess the rule two isn't in this game.
yeah,
I was like, this is great. I
that
was
was
like,
great. Yeah.
but why is like all the people who were like ragged on are like the Sith now? I was like, is that intentional? I was like, because you have Rose,
Oh
Ray,
yeah.
Jar Jar, three of the most like
Wow.
back in the day, especially or back in the day, like even still today. But people like didn't obviously like their characters, and now they're all Sith. Did all the
Mm.
fans turn them evil?
Mate, what? Oh, I didn't read
Oh,
that far into it in all honesty.
ooh,
Wow, you might have
wow.
unlocked something there. That's pretty
But
crazy.
also Darth Dev as short for the Devastator. That's great.
That was
That's so
pretty funny.
funny.
That was
That's
pretty
so
funny.
funny. I
Yeah.
love it. I like to think that a lot of having well, we talked about runtime, but I feel like a lot of it was just so unnecessary though, in my
Mm.
opinion. Like I thought they were going to do a lot more with the runtimes that were given. Because like how many unnecessary dialogue was between like Sig's character had the most unnecessary dialogue throughout the whole thing. Like just saying just reinforced his point about this is not what happens on my galaxy. Like we know, bro, it's not the same galaxy. Chill out.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna believe you. Like whatever, so be it. But I did like kind of the like Maul's character wasn't really needed.
No,
Like
he didn't do much.
what like yeah even like Han and Leia's character as much as
Mhm.
like honestly a lot of these characters didn't need to be in it and I would like to mention the most unnecessary thing in the whole thing in my opinion was the Jedi Council
Yeah, they didn't do much, did they?
Like, it's funny because you have like Jabba, you have Palps, you have Jedi
Vader.
Vader, but like I thought they were gonna be like the way they marketed this kind of stuff. I feel like it was more marketed towards like, oh look, we're gonna get the perspectives of what it would be like if Darth Vader was a Jedi or if this was this, but instead you just followed two characters who are basically just Rey and like a version of Luke, I guess, too,
Mm,
or I don't even know, or
mm,
Anakin, I guess you want to say for Darth Dev's way, but I just thought we'll focus more about like our characters we already knew and like, oh, here's what would happen if these guys were on the other side. You know what I
mm.
mean? But instead they tried to make it like a own kind of creation of a story, which is okay. Like it's enjoyable for its thing, but I really want to see more of our legacy characters in a different light. But I guess just
Absolutely.
me wanting to have like a Star Wars what if, I guess. Because it
Yeah,
was like it was almost there, you know what I mean?
it was almost there.
Mm.
I do agree. I think that there were definitely elements like so with the Jedi Council and the Sith. I think that
Mm.
that was more the Sith one you've kind of touched on a bit more, and
Mm.
I didn't think about that. I thought it was more of a
Mm.
gimmick, but
Yeah,
I
true.
guess maybe not now. Maybe it was intentional. But the Jedi, they literally did just flip everyone who was bad. Although I just read on this list here,
Mm.
Janna from Rise of Skywalker, if you remember her, she
Yep,
was a
yep.
Jedi. So that I don't know what's up with that
Really?
one.
I thought she was, for some reason, I thought she showed up in a different scene, but maybe
No,
that's just me being,
and Naomi Aki did her voice, so coming
damn.
back to do that.
But that's what I mean.
C3PO, we forgot about
Yeah.
him.
Bounty Hunter C3PO.
Yep,
I
yep.
mean, makes the most sense. I feel like he can, as someone who could speak so much languages and
Hmm.
knows odds of stuff, it's probably makes the most sense.
But then by the end, he came and helped against like what was that about?
Same as the Ewoks.
That's true. The Ewoks
I
came in.
feel like, yeah, I feel like it does the tropiest of tropes with Star Wars. They're like, huh, we need to do a final battle thing, even in Lego. How do
Let's
we
get
do this
everyone
with
back.
making it fair? Get everyone involved into it.
Yeah.
Like, put everyone that we've already seen into it, even if it doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah.
like, they wouldn't. Okay, sure,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But I don't know. I think it was a fun little kind of mini series, but I don't know if they're gonna try and branch off this more. It was definitely obviously like I think still the main reason why they made this was obviously for Lego creation and selling, obviously with you know the Lego sets. But
Hmm.
I mean, personally myself, we've talked about this. I actually like the Dark Falcon. You personally probably wouldn't pick it up because of obviously you got a lot of Falcon sets already, which
Yeah.
is fair enough. But I think the minifigures in that is just something to you know
Oh yeah,
cherish, I guess,
they're
especially
they're
the
exclusive to the
long.
set.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would have liked to have seen. It would have been it would have bumped the price up heaps more. But I think
Mm.
seeing a Jedi Jabba minifigure would have been pretty funny. Even
Oh,
just
that would
him
have been
holding
so
like a
good.
lightsaber, that would have
Yeah.
been fantastic.
You know,
Uh, and who else was missing in that set? I feel like Rose, like Darth Rose, played a pretty important role. Not
I feel like,
important, but
well, yeah.
a
I mean, I
role
feel like,
in.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of those Sith ones were just thrown in there, and that's my big issue. Like, I thought Dev was really cool with how he used his ability, especially when he fought the Sith when they
Mm,
tried to betray him, kind of thing. I think that was a pretty cool scene. Like, I feel like for a Lego format, these scenes were shot or done pretty good.
yeah.
Like for what a Lego capacity of a minifig could do, and
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I probably, what I would like to see more of, especially they did it a lot in this series, which I love so much, is when they like mix like vehicles and customizations on each other.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
we think about Lego all the time, but we always see like a final build of something, but never like what would it look like if you merged this build into this build kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like the Walker, like when who was it? Jedi Bob. Yeah, Jedi Bob. When Jedi Bob did his uh what do they call in the show? Like force building,
I don't know. It sounded a lot like what
master
happened in the
building.
Lego movie. Yeah.
Yeah, force master building. There we go. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. Force
Yeah. Yeah.
master building. Always with these Lego things, they always have to do some master building thing. Anyway, when he turns a ship into like the Walker, it's got the legs and it's got the ship on the top.
Yep.
I'm like, that looks sick. I was like, those are things that you would like to see more of because it's like,
Mm,
I don't know, it just inspires creativity more in terms of what you could do with the Lego if you go outside of kind of the instruction books of what they give you, which I think
mm,
is cool. And having like, how we have Lego sets with the 3-in-1s? How cool would it be if you had a Lego set which was Star Wars based and you could turn it into three different types of variations.
That'd be very cool.
That'd be pretty cool. It'll give you customization kind of reign and show you that, if you want to have this at this time or this at a different time, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And this is why I love these Lego shows is because it promotes creativity. And obviously it's made for kids and it's funny though. So like
Mhm.
it works well even for like us being older watching it. I think it still is a nice little touch, but obviously with our I'm not sure at the time of release of this one if we've talked about uh our other one that we did on the podcast with current state of Star Wars, but this
Yeah.
is obviously not going to be one to kind of what's the
Yeah,
word to
tip the scales. It's not
yeah,
gonna.
it's not going to tip the scales. It's a fun little niche touch, but it's kind of sad that this is probably one of the better things we've gotten in
Yeah,
recent
that's
stuff.
what I was
Like
thinking.
it's really sad to be honest when you think about it like that though. You know what I mean? Like no, I hate to Lego, but come on. Like
Lego can't really like meet those standards of Star Wars shows or movies.
yeah, yeah.
It's I feel like it's gotten to the point where it's almost um it's the gimmick. It's not
The
they
gimmick.
don't want to tell an actual story. They want to
Yeah, Star Wars.
they want to
Yeah.
just market Lego. They want to market Lego.
Market Lego.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole
Yeah.
show.
But yeah.
Um
Mm.
what I'll ask you two questions. First of
Mhm.
all, what do you think of Jedi Bob?
Jedi Bob, man. Honestly, if I'm trying to think of him as a character in the show or like about his plot kind of devices in it, I think he was needed
Mhm,
for the plot.
mhm.
However, why did they have to make him so useless? Like his sole reason is to like look over the cornerstone. Also, the cornerstone idea is an absolute horrible
What
plot
device?
device,
Yeah.
by the way, because as if you would like even if for some reason in our real galaxy there was a thing or like an artifact that when once you removed it, it changed the shape of the galaxy or something. Why would they have Jedi Bob
Yeah.
to protect it or just like not have any sort of protective measures? You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
think it's just very lazy in terms of like I was expecting when Sig and Dev to go in there, it was going to be like a bit more of like a trap kind of puzzles or something. But it was just like, nah, use the
Yeah.
force on the
Walk
door,
through. Yep.
we're in.
Yep.
Like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
so
It's a bit
Jedi Bob's
weak.
character was pretty meek in my opinion. Not very.
Hmm.
I don't know. He didn't really make me laugh. He didn't really do anything. It was just kind of like, he's not that great.
It felt similar to what I've been saying for the last like 10 minutes. It felt more
Mm.
of like let's just throw him in because he's a meme.
Yeah,
Like let's throw all the memes into the
memes out there.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree. I thought he kind of fit the Obi-Wan role
Hmm.
in New
Yeah.
Hope, kind of like the
That's
mentor.
that's his what's it called? Funny spoof of a character, I guess you
Yep.
could say.
Yeah, that's all of the personality he has, really.
Yep, basically. I mean, yeah, and that being like as your typical Lego show, you always have a master builder of some sort that teaches
Mhm.
the main protagonist how to build like creatively.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, Droid did not care for it all.
Droid.
The Gonk
Oh yeah,
droid,
Servo. Yeah, no.
Servo.
I will say the one thing that I did like about the droid,
Hmm?
and this isn't even a compliment to anything.
Oh
As
gosh.
the intros for each episode go
Oh
along, he's
yes.
the last character you see, and then at the first one he's silent. Then in the
Yeah.
episode he gets a like a voice thing. Then in the
Voicing.
second
Yeah.
one he like makes a comment like enjoy the show, enjoy
Yeah.
whatever. And then by the end when he's destroyed, like it kind of cuts out. He tries to speak and he cuts out, and it
Yeah.
gets really like the music gets really dark.
Yeah.
So
It's great. That was
that's the
great.
best thing.
That was the best thing about. I even forgot to mention that. That was hilarious. I was like, "Oh, this is great. Thank you. I'm going to enjoy this show. I
Yep.
appreciate it. Hype me
Yeah.
up. Hype
Yeah.
me up, man."
Exactly.
But yeah, no. I think this show, for what it's worth, is probably one of the better Lego ones that we get
Okay.
for Star Wars.
Yep. I
Like,
was I was just
yeah.
gonna ask, do you think this is the best Lego Star Wars show slash movie we've had?
Uh, yep.
Yeah.
Not. It's not better than the Lego Movie or
No. No.
like no, nowhere close. Even the Lego Batman, that's top
Oh,
tier. That's almost one of the.
that's an
That's
S tier movie.
that is yeah. Not even just an S tier Lego movie. That's an S tier movie. That's
Absolutely.
it's a great movie.
It's a great Batman movie.
Yeah, it's a great top three Batman movies.
Absolutely.
But anyway, sidetracked. This is probably the most what's it called? Rich storytelling we get for Star Wars Lego. Instead of just like a quick short, like I was mentioning before, with just like the holiday special or Tales of the Droids. That I'm starting to think that that series that they announced with Tales of the Droids or whatever will probably end up being Lego.
I didn't know that was a thing. Oh
Wasn't
wait,
that a
Tales of
thing?
the Droid.
Or whatever it was with the, droid tails,
Oh,
droid tails.
a droid story.
Yeah, droid story, that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'm having a feeling that it could actually be Lego because it would make it easier to animate kind of like as they're narrating over it, if that
Yeah.
makes more sense. Which
Okay.
is okay. Like if the stories are good, that's all right with me. But honestly, yeah, it was good fun. A lot of unnecessary bits which kind of lowers it for me a bit. Like
Mhm.
if they added a bit more cooler, unique stuff or just cut out some of the dialogue and move the story on along a bit, it would be a lot better because I think a lot of it was unnecessary just to extend
Mhm.
runtime, I guess. But other than that, yeah, fun time, good watch. I recommend it.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think we would both recommend. I think
Mm.
it was fulfilling of the title Rebuild the Galaxy. It
Mm.
definitely did change a lot of the aspects that we are familiar with in our
Yep.
current galaxy. Some of it was like a bit weaker. I feel
Yeah.
like Ewok bounty hunters. That's something you wouldn't. One of the most useless things, in my opinion, was the Akbar troopers.
Oh, why Akbar?
Like that, yeah, exactly. Why
Mm.
Akbar? I
Mm.
understand that like he's a symbol of hope for the
Like the
rebellion,
rebellion,
and you're
yeah.
mixing it with. I thought it was a stormtrooper, but apparently it's a clone trooper. Anyway, I feel like there
Yep.
could have been something a bit better. Like,
Mm.
actually, I was gonna say like put a Boba Fett helmet on the clone trooper, but
Oh
that's kind
yeah,
of
that'd be
that's the
yeah.
exact same thing. What could go? Put Darth Vader's helmet on a clone trooper
Yeah.
or something.
Or
Like,
even
make it.
imagine if the Knight sisters were under the helmets.
Yeah.
Like how crazy would that be? What the hell? They ended up being like the troopers. What?
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I
You
feel
know?
like they could have just gone with a lot more interesting
Mm.
decisions, and they decided to settle
Play it
on
safe.
safety. Yeah,
Yeah. Played it safe.
you
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head right there.
Mm.
This is safe. This is
Mm.
not pushing it too far. This is not
Mm.
making anyone angry.
Mm.
The this is a show that is not going to cause any divides. It's going to just exist and make readers
That's its
happy.
purpose. Yep.
Yeah. It
That's
doesn't
its
take itself
purpose.
seriously. It's got it's got everything pretty
Hmm.
much that it's
Yep.
not gonna affect the Star Wars galaxy. It's not gonna
Nope.
affect the fandom.
Nope.
It's perfectly safe. That is the
Yep.
exact word I
Just
would use.
just safe.
All
But
right.
yeah.
I think, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's all
No.
for me.
Yeah, so Rebuild the Galaxy, we both recommend
Yep.
giving it a watch if you can find how long does it go for? Like an hour and a half?
Probably all together. Yeah, just
Yeah,
under
hour and
maybe.
a half.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
worthwhile. Give
Mhm.
it a watch. It'll make sense. Some of the actually, I do have something to
Oh,
say. I
here we go.
forgot.
Yeah.
Here we go. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what's he grabbing?
Okay.
Yeah.
I got this thing. You've se
Oh,
I can't see it with the background.
the
I
Jedi
got,
Bob ship.
yeah.
Yeah.
How the heck did this not play a role? Sorry.
Yeah.
How the heck did this not show up
Uh,
until the final episode and it was for like a minute? The Dark Falcon played a bigger role.
was in it. Yeah.
The X-Wing and the TIE fighters
Even played more
played more of a role. This was just an excuse
to
to
get Jedi Bob.
get Jedi. This was an excuse to build a Lego set.
Yep. That was that. Actually, now that you mention that, that's a crime.
Yeah, I
That's a
think they could
crime.
have done something much better than this. This is not Rebuild the Galaxy. Go watch my review.
Yeah.
This is not Rebuild the Galaxy. This is just a
Yeah.
star. This is a poor man's Starfire. I could
Yeah.
throw
No.
this off the table right now. It's not good.
Yeah. It's just you guys got it for Jedi Bob basically.
I got it for Jedi Bob. I got it for
For
Jedi
meme.
Bob. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because you
Anyway,
can't add him to
that's
the other set because then no one would have, they need to make another set just for Jedi Bob because I know people want Jedi Bob.
yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
a
that's my
scam.
last.
Instead of it's a trap, it's a
It's a
scam.
scam. It is a scam. It is a scam. No, that's all I wanted to mention about that. That's
Yeah, that's
just
fair. That's fair.
that's a bit disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, I guess there are some disappointing Lego sets out there.
Oh yes, indeed.
Mm. All
Mm.
right, now I'm done.
Okay, okay, that's good. That's good.
All right, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for the next
See
podcast.
ya.